Hi everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and today my guides kind of asked me to do something a little bit different. So we're going to talk about the big three. The sun, the moon, and the ascendant, our big three, right? And so all of these different elements in our natal chart, in our birth chart, comprise this story of who we are and the path and the soul contracts that we kind of chose this life. So I'm going to try and help you out a little bit. It's kind of like a little beginner's talk, a little bit of a personal talk too, because they've asked me to incorporate some major life events as we go through these energies. And so understanding our birth chart and our natal chart is also a big part, I feel, of the spiritual journey, right? It's a journey of understanding who we are, why we're here. And so today my guides asked me to talk about some of the elements in my own personal birth chart and reference the most important that are called the big three, right? Our sun sign, our moon sign, and our ascendant. And so many people question, right? Why are these different? Why are these important? Most people know their sun sign, even if they don't believe in astrology. Most people will refer to themselves by their sun sign, right? And so we're compromised of so much more than just our sun sign. And so a lot of people only have this vague idea of how all three of these energies kind of work together in unison, right? And so there is a bit of a difference between how the sun works from how the moon works and from the ascendant in our chart. And so in order for you to find your ascendant, you will need to know your birth time, okay? So a birth time is important to have an accurate housing side of the chart for a reading. And so, yeah, most people know their sun sign. And most people think that the sun sign describes our personality, right? But in fact, that's not the entire truth, right? Because the sun, although it describes our personality, it kind of doesn't, right? Because we've got the moon that also describes our personality along with the ascendant. And then we have all of these aspects with planets and houses in our chart that combine to make another energy, right? Another energy. And so the sun is like the seed. That's the seed, right? That's the light, the vitality that our soul embodies, the sun. It's our drive. It represents our purpose in life. And so I'm a Taurus sun sign. I'm a bull. I'm stubborn. I never give up. I always follow through a task to the end. I'm very loyal and very committed, and I'm stubborn. I know I'm a stubborn person, but it's that stubborn drive that keeps that Taurus energy going. You think of Taurus energy in the tarot, we get the Hierophant, and we also link that to the Empress, right? And so two very high vibration energies, right? The Empress also breaking down to a 3, right? Uniting the sun, the moon, and the ascendant together to incorporate your most authentic energy, right? And so the sun is our drive, our purpose. It's what we identify with consciously, right? Most people identify with their sun placement, even if they don't believe in astrology. And so the moon, this is our supporting environment. This is our emotions. This is our psychological processes. This is our physiological processes. This is also linked to our genetic memory, our Akashic memory. Everything around us that allows us to grow and evolve is linked to our moon. It's also linked to the mother wound. And so I have a moon in Virgo at 22 degrees 40. And so, you know, I chose to master that mother wound this life, I feel, to heal the mother line, right, within my family. And so the Virgo moon that I have is also linked to my mother's north node, who is a Virgo north node. It's also the fall energy for me, right? My moon is in my 7th house, which is also Virgo energy, the fall, right? And so that highlights our codependencies, our one-on-one relationships, healthy, unhealthy, right? And it is a very, although Virgo is a very earthly energy, it is a very mental energy too. It's a very perfectionist energy. And so that was the fall, right? I'm a perfectionist. My mother instilled perfectionism in me because that was her North Node, right? And so all of these play a role in who we are, right? Because we're molded as children based on our parents and their upbringing and how they chose to upbring us and their background, their wounding, right? And so our moon is usually a little bit less obvious to the people that don't really know us well, right? Not a lot of people really get to see us in that moon energy, right? Because it's also our weaknesses too, and it does influence us the exact same as the sun, but at a whole different frequency, right? And so then what about the ascendant, right? So the ascendant, if we didn't have this shell energy of the ascendant, it's like we would be floating around in energy in space. And so the ascendant makes things real, right? In the 3D. The ascendant is also the doorway to past lives, right? And so the ascendant is the rising sign on the horizon. And so we all came here to rise like the phoenix, right? To rise into that ascendant, to understand why we are the way we are, who we are in our most authentic truth, and to get to the core of our soul, right? We are souls having a human experience. And so many identify less with the qualities of their ascendant sign, I think, on a personal level, until you really start digging into why it is you are the way that you are, right? And so throughout the years, I have studied and integrated and understood all of these karmic connections within my family structure to understand the karma that I came here to clear. I have a lot of karmic debt in my chart, and it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, but I chose to take on more karma than other souls because I'm an old soul. I'm evolved, and so I chose to come into this enlightened existence, this life, to help others kind of find their enlightened truth. And so I'm a Pisces ascendant, and so you think of Pisces energy. I appear to be this daydreamer. I'm always off in my own little world. Pisces is this very chaotic energy, right? And so my moon is the opposite, my fall energy, the Virgo, structure and order. And so where's the balance between the two, right? Because when my moon is triggered and that perfectionism in me is triggered, I can be so self-critical and so critical of others, right? And so to find that balance between the two, which would kind of be like my fourth house in Gemini, right? And so mastering the duality of the Virgo Pisces axis, right? And so the ascendant is kind of like this shell that we wear, or it's what most people see when they first meet us, right? This is their first initial impression, is this ascendant energy. And so I can seem a little bit flighty. I know I can feel like I'm here, but I'm not really here, right? And so that's what a lot of people, I think, see me as sometimes, this dreamy energy. I'm always dreaming something up, right? And so the ascendant is kind of like a mask, but not really a mask. It's not like a fake mask. The ascendant is the real us, right? And so this is why it's so important to find your birth time to understand that integral part of your natal chart, because this is like the sum of everything we've gone through in our life, all of our patterns and behaviors and approaches to how we, think about life. And I always keep going. I've experienced a whole lot of trauma. I think of Pisces energy as an ascendant. It can be a very self-sacrificing martyrdom energy. And, because of the Virgo moon, it's a service energy, right? To be of service, healers, and stuff like that. And then the sun energy, the Empress, is to own that true divine feminine power, right? And so all of these expressions go into the ascendant. And so the ascendant brings the sun and the moon energy into balance, the light and the dark, right? To give all of these energies this authentic expression in the 3D, which is the ascendant, right? And so, although most people at first glance will look at you and they will resonate with your ascendant vibration, Then they're going to notice your sun sign, right? And Taurus energy, grounded, stable, solid. You know, I'm all about stability, right? And then the moon sign. And it's usually only the closest people to us that understand our moon default behavior, because this is our comfort zone, right? And this is when we feel we can relax. And, you know, like nobody's watching. This is also, you know, the part of us that is most resistant to change is the moon. And so, so for me, a big change that was really hard to break free from was perfectionism, right? And God blessed me with two beautiful daughters that I've had to raise alone. And I know I chose certain challenges this lifetime as part of my soul agreement, as part of this clearing, because, you know, wisdom isn't gained unless you've gone through a lot of challenges, right? A lot of trauma. And so, so our moon is our deepest needs. It is our deepest emotions. It's what we are afraid of most to change, right? For me, it was to embrace the chaos. And when my youngest daughter come along, let me tell you, it was chaos from the start. And so the moon usually takes precedence on everything else. And so we're here to master our emotional reactions, right? And so with my moon in Virgo at 22 degrees 40, I really started to fully step into mastering my service-based mission at 40. I had my twin flame awakening in 2019 when I was just before my 39th birthday. I started publicly sharing my journey at the age of 40, and I've grown insurmountably in the last couple of years, right? I look at all the growth I've made from where I came from, that rock bottom, from the initial spiritual awakening to where I'm at now. And you know, so many of us have a hard time sharing this truth, and that's also linked to my North Node, right? All of this is interconnected. And so the big three are really important, right? Because not many people really get to see the true us, right? It's when we feel safest with that person. And so my youngest daughter's actually a Virgo moon like myself. And she's also a Virgo North Node like my mother, along with my divine counterpart is a Virgo North Node, right? And so that's also where I'm codependent on these people, keeping me grounded, keeping me rooted too. But at the same time, the big three biggest triggers for me would be my mom, my daughter, because it's so chaotic to ground that nurturing, mothering presence, and then my counterpart, right, which triggered all of this trauma, all of this wounding to the surface to be understood, right? And so all of these things are very important when it comes to understanding who we are within our birth chart. And you know, many of us right now are going through the dark night of the soul, I feel, as so much new spiritual awareness comes into the collective. And so I really wanted to talk about this. I've been triggered a lot lately. And so triggers are also showing up there to show you where you've been floating off in space. I know sometimes I get triggered to come back down to floating off in space with that Pisces Ascendant. But the big three are really important, and the houses that they fall in play a big role when it comes to the lessons that we're here to learn, right? And so opposite of the ascendant would be the fall energy. And so that's going to be when you really sink into that shadow self. And for me, it was like a breakdown of the mind. A lot of what I've gone through this lifetime has been linked to breaking free from traditional methods with the Taurus energy. And understanding these family patterns, right? I know for me, I initially stepped into my North Node, I'm going to say around the age of 26, and this was unconsciously, right? And so I feel like we're closing out all of these cycles. And in order to really close out these karmic cycles of codependency, unhealthy patterns, breaking free from the mother wound, and let's face it, it doesn't matter how amazing of a mother you are, we all cause some form of trauma to our children, right? And so we're here to do better than the previous generation. We're here to break these cycles. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about the big three. And I'm curious, like, do you know what your big three are? And let me know what you thought about this in the comments, because I really would like doing more videos like this, but I got to know what you think of them, guys. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this. Don't forget to give the videos a like, a thumbs up, to help circulate them, to help the channel grow. And let's see, do you know your big three? I'm curious. Let me know your big three, guys. So that was just simple, short, and sweet. I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to doing more of these, and I also look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you, guys.